This dark and strong top alpha had to personally get pregnant and give birth for his family's future. After many failed attempts to have a child, he was knocked up in one shot his mortal. How's he gonna deal with this mess now? Theophilus led the family knight order, once again winning the war. The palace was throwing a grand victory banquet for him. The old emperor sitting in high position wanted to show off his wisdom, and probably reward this loyal subordinate who risked his life for him. But Theo remembered the family mission he carried, so he asked to leave early and go home. This left the old emperor fuming, since his show couldn't go on. But in front of everyone he had no choice but watching Theo's departing figure. The old emperor cursed. Really ungrateful, just some bottom who got tired. Now he's not even an elf anymore, yet still so arrogant. Turns out long ago, the powerful fishless family could only produce top-tier alphas. But as alphas, they couldn't continue their bloodline. They could only take forbidden fruit to become fertile Smyrnas, to continue the family's power and prosperity. And Theo was prophesied by the gods to bear the next family head. So for the family's future, Theo kept working hard, just as he was preparing for what would happen tonight. Vice Captain Damien reported. The captured rebel leader was locked in the underground prison. Should they interrogate him tonight? This person was Prince Lang, the fourth prince of the Lanti kingdom he destroyed. Capturing him was really not easy. But compared to his family mission, he had to let this tough guy slide for tonight. Anyway, now that he's in his territory, no matter how strong he is, there's no way he can escape. But those confident plans always have accidents. It's like the dungeon had already broken free from his chain and was running around everywhere. But right now he was like a headless chicken. This place was built like a maze and had powerful barriers. He couldn't use any magic at all and couldn't contact the outside. Just as he was struggling with how to escape before being discovered, a special scent made his whole mind stir. What's going on? The smell is unable to resist this temptation. No, this is different, His body moved toward the scent against his will. When he opened the bedroom door that was giving off the scent, he saw his enemy Theo, sitting naked on the bed, wearing a black blindfold and saying to him, I think you know I'm a Smyrna now. I need to bear offspring quickly. Just treat me like any regular Omega. But there's one thing, no biting my neck. Honestly, Slang had no clue what he was talking about, and didn't understand why an Alpha was giving off an Omega scent. Even though his mortal enemy was right there, all he felt toward him was primal desire. He wasn't thinking about revenge, but about pouncing on him and doing this and that. A top-tier Alpha having to submit under someone else, just to bear a child for the family's future. He didn't care which Alpha it was. He was even disgusted by seeing the other's face. His only request was no biting his neck. But this man had his eye on his neck. Theo's warning was useless. The person on top didn't obey and told him not to move. Now, Theo realized things might be out of control. To see which family was so bold. But after seeing who it was, Theo was totally stunned. Someone explain what's happening here. Why is his mortal enemy Slang here? Could anything be more embarrassing than this? Actually, yes, he could clearly feel what state Slang was in. How could he work with another Alpha too? After a long while, Theo couldn't help ask, when can you be done? Slang was really embarrassed. Almost over, you're also an Alpha. You'd understand the situation isn't something I can control. Suddenly, there was knocking at the door. Then Damien burst in, shouting, Lord Theo, there's an emergency, so... Seeing the situation in the room, Damien couldn't even form words. In that moment, Slang grabbed his clothes and rushed out. Damien finally snapped back and was about to catch him. About to chase after him, he suddenly stopped and turned to ask, Lord Theo, are you okay? Theo covered his face with his hands. What kind of mess is this? Later, Theo got dressed and asked Damien about Slang's situation. From Damien, he learned he was recaptured and sealed with binding stones. There's no chance of escape now. Execution in 1 week. Theo touched his belly with an ominous feeling. A week later, Slang was brought out from the dark dungeon. He knew today should be his death day. When he saw Theo, he was quite surprised. Was he going to personally watch him go to the chopping block? But Theo just said, follow me, and left. Slang had to follow. I got more confused as they walked. The place looked sacred, not like an execution ground. And the person ahead didn't have that Omega scent from last time. Before he could figure out what was happening, they arrived at a great hall. Someone quickly held him down and cut his hand, letting blood drip into a golden container. Theo also cut his finger and let blood drip into the container. When their blood mixed in the container, it gave off a brilliant golden light. The priest holding the container looked down and said, Congratulations, Lord Theo, the fetus is developing successfully. A top-tier Alpha finally got pregnant. But why did it have to be his enemy's child? After learning the result, Theo wanted to bite Slang to death. He'd failed so many times before. Why did he have to hit the target with one shot? Slang was totally confused about the current situation. This completely overturned his understanding. How could an Alpha possibly get pregnant? If it's true, is the child really his? He looked at Theo for confirmation and disbelief. Is the child mine? But aren't you an Alpha? Hearing him ask this made Theo even angrier. All he could think was, I'm gonna kill you. Luckily, Damien stopped him. Theo finally calmed down. I'll give you two choices. Either get executed right now, or become my Capri and help me hatch this child. Turns out when Alphas become Smyrnas to reproduce, it's different from normal people. They need to lay eggs with the child's father and hatch them together. Without both, the hatching success rate is very low. And they call this Alpha a Capri. Though Slang still didn't understand. If he wanted to live, he could only choose the second option. The two then went to the study. Theo immediately drafted a contract for him. Seeing Slang still look puzzled, he slowly explained, Since you've become my Capri, you need to follow this agreement. Luckily, hardly anyone here knows you, so you don't need to worry about your safety. Our fishless family will fully protect you. Just relax and wait for the egg to hatch, then we'll let you leave safely. Hearing him say this, Slang asked uncertainly, Will you really let me go? I'll still return to the rebel group. and continue overthrowing your empire's rule over us. Theo laughed dismissively. Whatever, we fishless won't be defeated. As long as we're here, you'll never get that chance. Alright, quit talking, hurry up and sign. Slang thought for a moment, picked up the pen, and signed his name. When he finished the last stroke, the contract glowed. Then light swirled around him, finally settling on his scarred right eye. As the light faded, a white mark remained in his pupil. This gave Slang the feeling he'd signed a slave contract. Theo stared at the mark with satisfaction. Don't worry, this is just the contract's mark. Only I can break this contract if you try to run before the egg hatches. This contract can kill you directly, so you better behave. Then he reached out sincerely and said, but as long as you follow our agreement, I won't hurt you. I swear by the fishless family name. Slang finally reached out and shook hands with Theo. Seeing this, then it's settled, your name from now will be Just like that, the two reached an understanding. A man never dared dream he could knock up an alpha. Slang still couldn't believe he had a child. But the baby mama was not only a top-tier alpha, but also his mortal enemy. He couldn't believe all this was real. But thinking of that night when Theo lay beneath him, giving off an omega like Sen, just thinking about it made his whole body heat up. Meanwhile, Theo was handling the accumulated paperwork. Damien saw it was getting late, worried about his health and urged him to rest. Theo rubbed his neck. Many documents didn't need his personal attention. He was just really worried about making Slang his Capri. Whether this decision was right. Suddenly remembering something strange about that guy, saying he had an omega scent. He curiously asked Damien whether his pheromones changed after becoming a Smyrna. Damien shook his head saying no. Theo thought he was going crazy. As an alpha, he would not know his own pheromones. Then Theo finished work and prepared to rest, but unconsciously walked to Slang's room. Just as he reached out to open the door, the person inside sensed him and opened it first. Slang had just taken a cold shower. The water hadn't dried from his body, his whole body giving off pheromone scents. He blocked Theo at the door and asked wearily, "It's so late, what do you want?" Clearly showing I don't welcome you. This made Theo very embarrassed. "Nothing, just checking on you. You better behave, alright, nothing else, go rest." He left without looking back. Back in his bedroom, Theo's body started heating up. The main heated area wasn't even in front. This made him think he was going insane. He was like a horny omega. His mind full of that person's scent from just now. Maybe he was just too tired. The next morning, Slang was forced to get all dressed up. They say clothes make the man, and that's totally true. All dressed up, Slang was really dazzling. Even Theo's eyes lit up, sincerely praising very nice. Slang was confused. Why dress him up like this? Theo said he'd announced having a Capri. The Empire would make a public announcement. They needed to appear together. Then pointing at Slang's eye patch, he said, "But you absolutely cannot remove the eye patch." Slang didn't understand why. "Because your eye has the contract's mark. Our contract can't be hidden from those who know magic." His country was destroyed by that person's family. His rebel group was crushed by that person. Even more ridiculous, his bloodline was now in that person's belly. His Slang had the most legitimate royal bloodline, and was blessed by elves from birth, possessing the strongest elven power. But now he'd become Theo's prisoner. Now because of this damn barrier, he couldn't use any elven power. Couldn't even send out a message. He didn't know how his followers outside were doing. And there was a contract on his eye. The further he got from the main house, the more painful it became. Even without the barrier, he couldn't escape. If not for the contract still aging, he wouldn't dare believe everything that happened. That person's belly really had his child. Meanwhile, Theo announced his Capri's identity was just a commoner mercenary. This news caused an uproar among the nobles. Every family wanted Theo to bear their family bloodline. They never expected some unknown person to steal the show. What a waste of effort. A few family leaders wouldn't give up. How could the Empire's pillar have impure blood? Their families still had many excellent alphas. If this one won't work, surely another will. Still trying hard to promote their family alphas. Theo got more annoyed listening. What did they take him for? With a bang he slammed and cracked the table, scaring them into silence. "We fishless don't accept any failures. It's not like you weren't given chances. Are you questioning my personally chosen Capri? Or do you have issues with us fishless?" The two quickly denied it and didn't dare object anymore. Theo was too lazy to deal with them and just left. That night Theo rubbed his belly wondering if something was wrong with his body. He'd been acting very strange since that day.